Alright, today I'm going to be doing a long play of Rad Warrior for the Apple II. And the title was also known as the Sacred Armour of Antiriad on other platforms, so you might know it by that name. So here's the intro screen and the intro music, and the first thing that I noticed was the sound quality was surprisingly pretty good for an Apple II. And you Commodore 64 users might be like, this sounds good to you? And yeah, for an Apple II, against that standard, this is pretty impressive. The majority of Apple II games really don't have any sound effects other than beeps and fart noises. So I was pleasantly surprised. So as far as the plot goes, the game takes place in the near future, and civilization has destroyed itself in a nuclear Armageddon. The survivors have evolved as a primitive but peaceful race, and now aliens have suddenly overtaken the planet, and so it's up to you to save your race. So you play as this caveman, and you're surrounded by aliens every which way. And of course, being a caveman, your only weapon is to throw rocks. And as you can see, you throw them at sort of a weird angle, which is sort of awkward, but it does help in certain situations. My one criticism is that you can't throw the rocks while you're ducking. So you'll find the ancient armor that was left by the soldiers who fought in that nuclear war centuries earlier. And the armor is going to slowly restore your health, but it does a lot more than that. When it's fully functional, you'll be able to fly around with it and shoot pulsar beams. But right now, if I try to take off, it's going to throw back an error saying that gravity prevents takeoff. And so what that means is I have to go and find the necessary equipment to make this thing fully operational. And the first piece of equipment are the anti-gravity boots. So now I have to go retrieve those boots. So Rad Warrior is not a side-scroller, as you can see. It moves from screen to screen, and that's probably for the best, just because the Apple II doesn't have the horsepower to actually handle a game like this if it was a side-scroller. It does result in some awkward moments, though, when I'm falling through multiple screens and I have no idea where I'm going to end up until I eventually land on some surface, and hopefully that surface isn't an alien's head. So this is really cheap. You notice that the enemies respawn every time I re-enter a screen. And I do admit most 80s games were programmed like that, and I'm sure the programmers wouldn't call it an issue. They probably would say, well, it adds to the challenge of the game. And, well, I can't argue with them there. So here are the boots, anti-gravity boots. So now I just have to make my way back to the armor, and I'll be able to fly around the level with it. And you're going to come across these energy icons, and when you pick them up, they restore the energy of your armor, not of the human's health. The only way that you can restore your human's health is to actually wear the armor. And so now when I wear the armor, it's going to let me know that the anti-gravity is activated. And so we have liftoff. And so now I can fly around the levels, and it's sort of like a maze. But one thing I don't have yet is any sort of attack while I'm wearing the armor. The only way that I can attack is if I were to exit the armor and then throw rocks as the caveman. But that's going to leave me vulnerable, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go and get the pulsar that's going to let me actually have an attack while I'm wearing this. This is where the game really shines for me, when I'm flying through the levels, armed with my pulsar, shooting down aliens. And the game kind of takes the part of a maze because I don't exactly know where I'm supposed to go. I just know I need to collect more upgrades and destroy the mothership and save my people. So remember how the aliens are being cheap because they respawn? Well, I can be cheap too. If I race through a screen fast enough, I can actually move past the aliens before they even have a chance to generate. And I know that's kind of cheating, but I'm just leveling the playing ground. These guys started it. So these force fields cannot be penetrated while you're wearing the armor, so you're going to have to exit it. And now I'm going to get the third piece of equipment if I can survive. So you can see I'm really vulnerable when I leave the comfort of the armor. And now I only have 3 rejuvenations left. Okay, make that 2 rejuvenations left. Oh, come on, dude, really? There we go. Sometimes when you're shooting the aliens and they're on the other side of the screen, it can be sort of difficult because the projectiles are so small and they're traveling at a really fast rate. That or I just have a lousy shot. Okay, there's no way I'm getting through here without taking some damage. So charge! Yeah, that actually worked. Kind of. Charge again! Okay, I'm glad that there was an energy capsule there. So I was running low on energy. If I were to actually run out of energy, my armor would fall to the ground. And I would essentially be marooned here because I would have to travel on foot as a caveman. And if I'm not able to find another energy capsule nearby, then there's no way I can finish the game. So I just have to reset the game at that point. Now there's no doubt that Rad Warrior was well ahead of its time. Even though it came on a previous platform before the Apple II, I mean, just seeing this, though, actually work on an Apple II, I mean, it's really, really well designed, good colors, good detail in the graphics, and of course the sound's pretty decent as well. So I'm really surprised I hadn't heard of this game until recently. Like literally only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw a video of this on YouTube. It was a few minutes long, and the game just looked really sweet, so I decided to give it a shot. And it does play really slow on a stock Apple II, but if you have an accelerated CPU, or if you're using like an Apple IIgs or Apple IIc Plus, like the machine I'm using right now, then it should play a lot more smoothly. I would suggest running it at probably about 4 megahertz, and that's what I'm running at right now, and it seems to be working pretty good. So you definitely don't want to get hit by those projectiles from that particular alien. One touch with that projectile and it would severely damage your armor, but if I wasn't wearing any armor, one hit would be instant death. So just be careful around him. And here's the final energy capsule before I finish the game. And here's the final screen of the game, so I just need to land in the center, and the armor will do the rest. And there you go. You finished the game. You save your race. All in all, this was a really awesome game. My only complaint is it's too short, but still worth a try. So give it a shot. Thanks for watching.